Hi everyone, and welcome to today's demo of Pryme AP Automation, our solution to turbocharge your accounts payable in Business Central. I'm Laura Andradas, Marketing Lead at Pryme Global, and I'm here with David Embretson, our Product Owner. We'll be giving you a quick walkthrough of how Pryme AP Automation works. And now let's dive in, and over to you, David. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Laura. Before we dive straight into Business Central and do the live demo of Pryme AP Automation, I will now share with you a few process step overviews, just what we'll cover in Business Central when we get there. It's just one slide, so bear with me while I go through this. So when we start with the process overview, we have an incoming document, an incoming invoice that comes in through an email or as an electronic invoice, so PDF attachment or an XML file. We send this through to our AI data recognition, which converts the PDF, the image, or the XML file to a XML file that can be imported into Business Central. In Business Central, we then create new purchase documents, for example, a purchase invoice, using the job queue entries connecting to the service and retrieving the documents. In the case for any failed documents, we offer a range of solutions to correct the incoming document. For example, we have a missing vendor in the system. You can use the information on the incoming document to create the new vendor. Or if any information is not correctly read, we can correct that and train the AI engine with the feedback data. When it's time for approval of the document, then we have enhanced the approval workflows with additional workflow responses, which allows us to set the approver type based on dimension codes and or project manager, depending on your requirements. And in addition to this, so when we have the approval workflow live, we'll just move into a simplified view of the purchase invoice where we have a focused view on the purchase document. You'll see the PDF clearly to the right on the screen and focus on the lines that are yours to approve. With the document reviewed and approved, we just go ahead and hit post invoice to post the document, which follows the standard Business Central procedure. And with this, I'll jump over to Business Central. Today in Business Central, I'll show you two different roles. So I have this very simplified role center here for the approver, and I also will take you through the entire flow in the accountant role center I'm using here. So what happens when we install Pryme AP Automation into your environment? Well, first of all, we add a number of tiles to your role center to keep a transparent workflow and always a clear view of where the document is in the flow. We add a number of tiles to allow you to do this. So first of all, we have the incoming documents where we can flag quickly any failed incoming documents that are not processed correctly. This tile will of course turn red if any document has failed through the processing. We also have a new incoming documents tile which can contain documents if you opt to manually convert them to purchase documents. Otherwise, through the standard workflows in Business Central, we'll just move straight to new purchase documents from the incoming document. From here, the document will then go for approval, and the outcome of the approval flow can be that the document is rejected or approved. All right, so first step in setting this up, and the first thing that happens when we install Pryme AP Automation is that you will get sent to our assisted setup. The assisted setup takes you through the steps to create your Pryme AP Automation account. The first thing you need to do is that you're required to set up an email account. So you need to have an email account configured in Business Central for this to work. If you do not have that configured, the guide will send you to the email account configuration where you set up your email account. When this is done, we'll just proceed with next. We'll get the company information in here. We have the company VAT number. I'll fill in my contact details for the information, and I'll proceed with next. In this step here, I need to create the password for my Pryme AP Automation account. So I'll click on the Open Pryme AP Automation account password setup page here, and I'll now select and type in a password matching the requirements that we see on this page here. And with this filled in, we will now create the account in the background. So the system connects to our AI engineer setting up your account and also giving you the email address where you will send your purchase documents. So with this address here, we will use this to forward any incoming email with the purchase document as an attachment, and they will land straight into your Business Central. Just before we finish the guide here, just test the connection, make sure everything is working as it should. We have our link to online documentation to get started quickly, and our support for any questions. And then just go finish to close the assisted setup. Now, just before we start processing our first document, we can have a quick overview of the setup here. So I do have a page called Pryme AP Automation Setup, which contains information about a general configuration of the app and bank details validation. In the general configuration, we have a feature to set the posting date equal to the document date on incoming documents. This is really useful when Documents come in one or a couple of days later than the actual current date. Also, the simplified purchase document view that you saw in the PowerPoint presentation can be enabled by this function on here. We also have a bank details validation functionality here. If you turn this one on, we can validate the IBAN, SWIFT, bank account number, and bank branch number towards the bank details and the bank accounts for your vendors. This is an optional feature, so you turn it on or off here, and these are the default values that you will use. You can also set this individually on any vendor card. Right now, I'll leave this functionality off. Separate to this, we also have the workflows. We do have both line level approval and purchase document header approval. In this example here, I'll set up a line level approval, which has a response based on the purchaser code on the document. The purchaser will be the direct approver. This is driven from the approval user setup, and we'll have to link the approver users. In this case, I have a user called approver to a purchaser code. But of course, we can drive this for any other users. So I'll just jump back one step from here and base it on users from user groups, dimension codes, cost centers, departments, and similar, or product managers. With this setup completed, we're ready to start processing our documents. So for this, I'll open up a new email like this, and I'm just gonna paste in the email address we got from the sign up process. For processing of the documents, I'll simply select the incoming purchase document we have, and I'll just attach that to this invoice here. So I'll send across this PDF invoice here from Lyreco for the AI engine to recognize. With this, I'll proceed with send, and this is now being sent from my Outlook to the AI engine for processing. Of course, you might have an incoming email box for accounts payable at the client.com, for example. Then you can simply set up a forwarding rule in Exchange to forward the documents to Business Central automatically. Now, we have job queues set up in the background that runs every 5 minutes and checking for the new document. So instead of waiting 5 minutes for us to be able to process this document, I'll actually run this now in the background. And what happened now when I received the document is that a new purchase invoice was immediately created. So we can go to new purchase documents. I can open up the purchase invoice right here, and I can now see the PDF to the right here. Of course, I can adapt the PDF viewer so it fits my requirement or my preference. So I see this as I would like to. In this overview here as well, I can also see the status of the document, if there is approver user already assigned, and so on. I can open up the document here to have an overview of the incoming documents. Now we can see that for this supplier, I already have a purchaser code assigned, meaning this document will go to this purchaser code for approval. I also got that purchaser code down to the lines, meaning we can assign individual purchaser code for individual lines for approval. All right, so I'll just add an additional line to see how this looks when you send line level approval. So I'll add in another line here, and let's split this up equally between the two lines. And when we have this information in here and the document has been correctly set up, we can also, of course, check through our validation that we do have the correct amount accounted for. So we see down here the incoming document details. And if there's any deviation on the incoming document details, and I'll try to later post this, but also now send an approval request, get a validation error. So the incoming document total is 5387. However, I only accounted for 2814. So I need to update the lines to make this work. I'll go in here, update the line here, and you can now see the updated amounts here matching the incoming document details, and the difference is now 0. So I'm ready to send this for approval. I'll now send this for line approval, and the document moves over to purchase documents pending approval, and we can see who's the responsible approver for the next step. Now both went to the same user here, to the approver user for approval. I'll just jump over to the view as the approver. I can see that I have requests to approve, and here I have 2 lines to approve. If I open up the record, you can see both of the lines. I have the PDF view to the right, and I can scroll through here to get more details. Now for approval, I do have the approvals on each individual line by clicking here, or I have the approvals from the menu here, which approves the selected lines, meaning I can simply mark both of the lines like this and click on the drop down here and approve to approve both of the lines. And that makes the document disappear from my view here. With the document approved, we are then ready to move into the final step. Post the document here. So post the document, and when I have the new posted document registered in here, we have the document with us here, and this moves then to the posted purchase documents. We have the simplified view that's also for purchase orders now. So if I have a purchase order to approve, you can see that one in there as well. And we have predefined approval templates for this. Let's have a look. If I go to my workflows, and I create a new workflow from a template here for approvals of purchase documents and specifically purchase orders. So if we select Pryme purchase order line approval, for example, I'll I'll select who should approve down here. Let's use the purchaser code in this example. And maybe let's make an example where we have several approvers as well. So let's select one more user in here and assign approval. If we do this, and I'll go back and go to purchase orders, I have now the possibility to select any purchase order. I enter in the items that I'd like to order, and we can set different approvers, either based on the purchaser code that will come from the vendor, or you simply select the purchaser code like this on the purchase order lines. I'll select the quantity I'd like to order and the price. Let's see what these were, 15.97. So we have a total purchase order of this amount here. Now I'm ready to send this one for line approval request. When we do that, we can see now it's pending multiple approvers in here. We also have the possibility to attach an incoming file as a PDF to the purchase document. When I do that, I can also have an overview of the current status. It's pending approval and pending multiple approvers in the approval overview here. If I refresh the screen here, I can see that I have 2 requests to approve, line number 1, line number 2 on this purchase order. If I go to open record, I have here an overview of the lines to approve, if they're linked to a project, who is the approver user. So these 2 for the approver, and this one is pending ASCII. I again can select one or several lines. I'll select in the menu to approve the lines, and that would move the document out of my view, and now we're only waiting for ASCII to do the approval on his line there. If I go back to the overview and open up purchase orders overview, you can see that this one has now been updated to be waiting for ASCII. And if I open up this view, we can also see the status on each individual line. So these are now released, while this one is currently pending approval. The similar functionality now exists not only for purchase orders, but for purchase return orders, and since before we have it for purchase invoices and purchase credit memos. Of course, throughout the full flow or process in here, we open up the document again. We've added that one in to all of the pages related to the document log. So we can see that David sent 3 approval requests, 2 to approver and 1 to ASCII, and the approver approved the ones assigned to him. And as the document will progress through here and get approved, and later we get the receipts, we confirm the receipt and we will match an invoice, the purchase order will eventually become deleted. When we delete the purchase order, we have the option in Business Central to move a copy of the purchase order to the archive. Also in the archive, of course, we'll save document log. So we'll save whoever approved this purchase order back then, so we have the full transparent approval flow throughout the whole process.